Alright, so this is the voice thingy. So let's go down the list here. What is your name? Uh, well, I mean, online people call me Robbie Bun, but my real name is Chrissy, so yeah. What is your star sign? I am a twin fish, bitch. Pisces. Born in March. My birthday is actually in like 2 weeks. What is your mother tongue? That would be English, but sometimes I think it's sarcasm. Where do you live? In a cardboard box under a bridge in New Jersey. Bring me some Wawa coffee, please. What was the last thing you ate? A Ghirardelli chocolate square, dark like my soul. 90% bitch. What are your showering routines? I didn't know that people had showering routines. I don't know, I just get in the shower. But if I have to like think about it, I turn on the water and wait for it to heat up and just chill on the toilet for like 5 minutes while I wait because it takes forever. Then I hop in when it's hotter than the furthest depths of hell and wash my hair, which is a pain in the ass because I have long hair. And my shampoo of choice is usually Suave because I'm a cheap bitch. Then I wash that out, and then rub some soap all over me. Usually Irish Spring soap, sometimes Yardley lavender because it's nice. If I have to like shave my legs, then I kind of like awkwardly stand on one leg and put the other foot like against the shower wall. So the shower is like one of those really small ones. It's like 4 foot wide. It's not very big. But yeah, I put my foot up on the wall and like try not to like nick myself, even though I do all the time. Do I have a crush on anyone right now? I'm in a long-term relationship with depression. Holla at me, girl! Describe your ideal date. Well, I personally don't really care about dates, but if I had to think of something to be fun to do, definitely to go into the city. I love going into the city and going to one of the art museums. Probably the Met, but the MoMA's really fun too. But the MoMA's more expensive. The Met, if you don't know, and you have the chance to visit New York City, if you go to the Met or even like the Museum of Natural History, you don't have to pay the full fee. So it'll say like adult $20, but you actually don't have to pay that. You can pay anything from 5 cents upwards. It's technically a donation, so if you don't have the money, then it's totally fine to like donate like $1 to $5. It's usually what I do. But if you do have the money, you have it available, I mean, feel free to donate more because, you know, the whole place is actually run on donations and such, so, and like, you know, private contributors. But yeah, so I would go to these museums and like have fun just like laughing at all the masterworks because, you know, everyone's like, oh, it's beautiful, oh, a painting, oh, wonderful. But like, bitch, have you seen like medieval babies? They're fucking scary. They're fucking scary. Don't even get me started on the fucking art of Michelangelo because like that dude really has no idea what women look like at all. Or babies. But mostly women. 2 words. Orange breasts. Anyway, what's the next question? Go to the nearest window and describe what you see. Well, the nearest window window has the blind down, so if I looked outside it, I wouldn't see anything because I'd see a blind, but if I had to look outside it, I mean, honestly, I don't even have to do that because, like, it's my fucking house, so I see the shit every day. And it's just gonna be, like, my driveway and cars, and then my neighbors across the street next to me. I live in a neighborhood, so it's just houses and cars and front lawns and shit and trees. Dead trees. But trees. Very enthralling, I know. Who is your favorite fictional character? Fravio, I guess? I mean, I've been stuck with him for so long that I guess it would make sense. But I don't really have, like, a favorite that I'm, like, freaking out over. Like, how, like, you know, ever, like, Italian, people will like drool over like Germany or Italy and shit like that. Like, nah. I just like fictional characters in general. If you ask me like a fictional character for my favorite series or whatever, it'd probably be easier for me to answer. What's the next one? Who are the last people you messaged on Tumblr? Well, people should be person because I literally don't message people on Tumblr unless they message me first. I mean, if you want to message me on Tumblr, go right a fucking head and message me and I will probably talk to you, but, so the last person I talked to was Ask the Fourth Wall Repairman because they're the only person that messages me on Tumblr. Everyone else, like, friends-wise, will just talk to me on Skype, but, like, I don't really have many people that will, like, just randomly message me. Because for some reason people are intimidated by me, but I swear to God I'm not very intimidating, I swear. Alright, so the last part is, give us some advice. So I had to, like, pre-prepare this because I wouldn't be able to think of things off the top of my head, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm going to give some art advice because that's probably my area of expertise. So let's see, what did I write here? So, okay, so a question I get asked a lot is, how do I get better at drawing? Well, I mean, that's a really, like, big question because there's numerous ways to get better, but I mean, I can tell you the ways I've used in the past and the ways I've told other people to use, and how I prepare my own lesson plans and teach my own students. So, number one, and you've heard this like a million times, number one is practice. Just keep practicing, just keep drawing. When I was in high school, I drew all the fucking time, like all day. In class, in lunch, in gym, on the bus, I drew all the time. I have like, well, had so many sketchbooks just filled with art. I recently went through them all and just kept like the ones I really liked and threw everything else out. But yeah, I drew a lot. And I mean, in my opinion, my skills in high school were pretty above average for that age group. Even for other people that draw like anime and such like that. I mean, I started off not so great, like in 9th grade. You should see some of the like weird anatomy problems I had, but like once I hit about like junior, senior year, I was pretty good. I was pretty solid. I was already doing commissions and stuff like that. Another thing you need to know is to just like, if you're having something like, if you're having a problem drawing something, like the number one for many people is hands. If you're having trouble drawing hands, just fucking draw them. Just keep drawing them. I'm not even kidding. Like, people are like, oh, how are you so good at hands? Well, if I showed you any of my old art, I never hid them. I always drew the hands, no matter how bad they were. And so I'm telling you, stop hiding them behind the character's back or whatever. Like, draw the hands. You can also draw your hand. Draw other people's hands. There's plenty of references online that you can find to draw. The best way to learn how to draw something is to draw it over and over and over again until it becomes just second nature. Like, for example, I've been running Robbio for like 3 years now, and just drawing him is second nature to me. Like, someone would be like, draw Robbio, and I'd be like, okay, done. But like, if someone was like, draw, I don't know, well, I have Defil now as well, and I mean, he's essentially an OC design and stuff, but like, I've only drawn him a couple times in his new design, so I don't know him by heart, so I have to constantly look at references and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be able to draw like characters that I don't draw all the time from my head, you know? So here are some good sources you can use though, if you're looking for something more, I guess, credible than just like my advice like this. If you need better guidance too, and that would be to look into these 2 books, and I highly recommend them. I haven't finished either of them yet because I'm lazy and don't read a lot, but the first one would be Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards, and this was one I started reading in college, and basically what it is just talks about drawing and like perceptions and your brain. Literally it talks about your brain and drawing, and you know, how you can get yourself to memorize things, or like how to break that, like, oh, I'm gonna draw an eye and it looks like not an eye when I draw it, you know, like a real eye. The other one is Fun with the Pencil by Andrew Loomis. This one is highly recommended for beginners. I mean, anyone can use it no matter what level you are at, but Fun with a Pencil is awesome because it's just literally fun. It's just simple exercises that teach you how to use your hands to be like more free and like fluid, because I see a lot of like new artists that sit there and they're like drawing like so tense, like their hands are so tense, their arms are so tense. Drawing isn't just like your hand, it's also your elbow and your shoulder. Your arms work as well when it goes to drawing. So if you're really tense, you're gonna have a hard time making some nice sweeping lines. I also recommend to look into Andrew Loomis's other works too. There's a really good anatomy one. I mean, all these books are very vintage. They're from the 1940s and 1950s, but that doesn't make them any less credible. I mean, honestly, I love them. For right now, I would say put away your how to draw manga books for now. I mean, I have a lot of like the ones that have been translated from Japanese. I don't have any like the Chris Hart ones because he's fucking awful. But just put them away. I mean, there's some helpful things in them. Like I learned how to do like the stick figures when you're mapping out a body from, I think, the one that's like just how to draw male characters. But like there's things that you can look at later as references. There's a lot of reference stuff in them. So I don't really recommend using them when you're just starting out, even though I did, but that also caused a lot of problems. And the reason is because if you're drawing, and let's say you want to draw someone sitting down, so then you go Google sitting down anime character, and you get like a picture of, I don't know, Sailor Moon sitting down. Well, that's great and all, but like you're copying something that's already been drawn. You know what I mean? Like you've already someone's already like taken that information of someone sitting down and redrew it in their own like perception, their own true perception in their own style. And when you do that, you're just basically regurgitating. If you draw from that, you're just regurgitating what they drew. If you want a real reference, go look up actual like people, like human beings, like real people. I don't use DeviantArt for much, but I do use it for references. Just go to references, and then I think it's stock images, and then model. But yeah, anyway, getting back to those two books I mentioned earlier, you can find PDFs of them on Google, no problem. Right Side of the Brain, you're definitely going to be able to find a physical copy, but Fun with a Pencil and other Andrew Loomis works, you probably will not be able to buy physical copies of, because I know the one anatomy book I think goes for like almost $100, because like I said, they're vintage and they're rare. But people have put up PDFs of them, so you can use that. And for a couple like just simple things, these are just simple things for people who draw digitally. So it's some stuff to keep in mind, and also just like helpful tips that like I didn't know about until far later. But first of all, if you like to use Psy, pen pressure is everything. Make sure that your pen pressure is on. You can do that by going into the options menu. Just make sure your pen pressure is on if you're using a tablet. And I think this works for even if you're not using a tablet, but at the very top you'll see something called stabilizer and then a bunch of numbers. What this does is if you draw like a shaky line, or the line's not really a perfectly curved line, it'll automatically curve it for you. And the different numbers are the different levels of these stabilizations. So like a 1 is no stabilization, or very little stabilization, and 15 is a lot of stabilization. So, I mean, the number that you choose really depends on your drawing style and how you I'm sorry. it's late. And like how you draw your lines, and you know, if you use a mouse or if you use a tablet, you know, that's all that all, you know, comes in, but it does help with like the shaky lines and stuff that I see sometimes. Another thing is, when it comes to Photoshop, uh, there's a way to resize your images, even though, like, let's say you want to make it bigger, which is usually the problem, is you have a small image and you want to make it bigger, but you don't want to reduce the quality. The way to do that is to go over to the layer that the image is in, make sure it's on its own layer, just one image, and right click and go to Smart Shape, I think it is, or Smart Object. And what that'll do is essentially make it into a vector. I can't say it'll be like 100% perfect, but usually with things like, let's say you're drawing line art and you want to make something bigger, but you know if you make it bigger, it's going to fuzz out the lines. So if you change it into a smart object, then you can, sorry, my computer just went off. If you turn it into a smart object, then you can make it bigger without worrying about losing any quality in the pixels and stuff like that. So that's a good one, but it's always make sure that you rasterize it right afterwards once you have it perfect where you want it. That way you're not using too much like data. Another thing is, this is for a lot of beginning artists that would like to like sell prints and stuff and print them out themselves, or like, you know, from a company. When you're drawing something you're planning to make into print, make sure the resolution is set at about 300 dpi at least. More is always better, but like don't go overboard because it does drain a lot on your memory. But yeah, 300 dpi is the best. And dpi literally means dots per inch, so a dot would be a pixel. So that's how many pixels you can cram in 1 inch in real life, one real living inch. So like 300 would be way more detailed than 100. And obviously you can go higher, like I said, but it's not necessary. 300 or 350 is usually the best. And the last thing I want to talk about is tablets in general, because I know a lot of people really would like to have tablets, but they can't afford one. Well, actually, you probably can. Here's the thing. When people think of tablets, they think of what? Wacom, right? I'm sure you thought Wacom. Wacom tablets are probably the most well-known and prestigious in the digital art community, and I mean, they're not bad, but they're pretty overpriced for what they give you, which is usually a tablet and a bunch of useless buttons that you never will use, okay? You'll never use those buttons. So what I recommend is to not get a Wacom tablet, because I've had so many. My first Wacom tablet was a Graphire 4, which was a good tablet. I mean, it was really tiny. I think it was only like maybe 4 by 6 inches in, you know, drawing space, but it cost about $100. It's like the equivalent to what a Bamboo is now, but that was back in like 2005, 2006, and I really think that that was probably the best one I had, because after that I bought Intuos 2, Intuos 3, Intuos 4, Intuos 5. Well, here's the problem. I've only ever had Intuos about a year and a half. Every year and a half, the damn thing would break, and that's not like out of the blue. Like, I would have so much trouble with it all through those, like, I'd say the first 8 months were fine, and then after that, it all started going to shit. So, like, the first thing would be, like, the USB port wouldn't work, which is really annoying, because if you want to get a new USB cord for Wacom tablets, you have to buy their USB cords, which cost about $80. Sometimes the pen would shit out, and you'd have to buy their pen, which costs about $80. You see what I'm getting at here? And the tablet itself would die. Well, I always had a 2-year warranty on my tablets. Every time before 2 years was up, the tablet would break and I would have to get a new one. I'd get a new one for no extra cost, which was nice, because they're $400 tablets. Well, the last time one of my Intuoses died, what happened was, I still laugh about it because it's just so ridiculous. I called Staples, which is where I got the tablet originally, which I had the warranty under. I called Staples and said, like, hey, my tablet's dead, like, I have a 2-year warranty, I don't know, you know, when it's, you know, up. I know it's up like this month, but whatever. And the lady's like, okay, well, I can look it up for you. And she, you know, goes in and looks up all the information for me. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, what? It's like, I'm sorry, but your warranty was up yesterday. Yesterday. If I had called a day earlier, I could have gotten another tablet for free. But no. So I was really mad and was without a tablet for probably about 2 months. And then, like, I went researching because I didn't have the money to buy another $400 tablet. Are you kidding me? Like, I had to save up for my first one. So, so then, like, for my birthday, my mom asked me what I wanted, and I was like, I really want a tablet. But I wasn't going to make her buy a $400 tablet because she wouldn't, first of all, buy it, and second of all, it was, no. I was done with Wacom. So I found out that there was another company that makes tablets called Huion. Huion is a Chinese company, I believe, but they make tablets generally the same size as Wacom, but so much cheaper. I took the chance and bought a Huion for $60, and it was the same size as my Intuos tablet that had cost me $400. So, but I've had this tablet for like 2.5 years now, and I've really had no problems with it whatsoever. This $60 tablet. It doesn't have any fancy buttons, it's just a tablet and a pen, which is all I really fucking needed to begin with. And you can get any USB wires. If the USB wire doesn't work, you can change it for any USB wire as long as it's, you know, the correct, like, USB. I think it's USB mini to USB A or some shit like that. And the only problem I've ever had had nothing to do with the tablet itself. The one, I had a pen, and the pen they give you put batteries in it. Well, I had dropped it and then accidentally stepped on it, so I couldn't use it anymore, so I ordered another pen. The one I ordered was a self-charging pen, like you can plug it in and it would charge, so I didn't have to use, I think it's like AAA batteries, I don't know, but I lost the charging wire to that, so I couldn't use the pen anymore, so I ended up buying another pen, but the pens are only like, I think it's like $15 for a basic pen that you use batteries with, and then like $20 for like the professional pen that you can like recharge. But, yeah, that's my advice. Get a Huion tablet. They're only like $60 for like a pretty decent sized one. It's like a medium sized Intuos. I mean, you can get a smaller one if you don't have quite as much money, or a bigger one, but yeah, don't buy Wacom. This turned out to be a lot longer than I was expecting. I kind of went rambling for the end bit there, but anyway, have a good one. I'm out. Peace.